Hello. Thank you for coming out tonight. When I was a child, I was in the airport on my way home from a vacation with my family. We had just had a great week visiting friends, and I was nothing but smiles. We made it through security with no problems, but as we approached the gate, fear took over. Not the kind of fear that you experience because you're afraid to fly, the kind of fear that you experience when you're convinced that you're in danger. My danger came in the form of a young woman praying. Let me explain. As we made our way to the desk to check in, I could not take my eyes off of this woman. The sight of someone praying isn't normally something that would startle you. So why was this time so different? To set the scene, it's important to take you back to how things were in America at that time. We were fresh off one of the most, if not the most, deadly terrorist attacks made on U.S. soil. We were at war with the Middle East, and racial tension was higher than it had been in years. Let's just say, it wasn't the easiest time for Easterners living in America. When I saw this woman, who looked Middle Eastern, praying, I was terrified. I felt in that moment a fear I had never felt before. I had never been afraid to fly, but I knew I did not want to get on that plane. The only other time I had seen anyone praying like this woman was on the news after the planes crashed into the Twin Towers. The media had shown numerous videos of radicalized Muslims. As a child, the only people I knew who looked like this woman were the terrorists I had seen on TV. Right or wrong, this was all I knew. Hello everyone, my name is Luke, and I am here to talk with you about the importance of understanding other cultures. My goal is to help guide you towards getting past judgments you may have about people of different cultures and how to learn ways to communicate effectively with them. I hope to show why it's important not to judge a book by its cover, or in this case, a person by their culture. Now, looking back at my reaction, I realized how little I actually knew about Middle Eastern culture in comparison to what I thought was true because of what was shown to me through American media. I didn't know this woman's name or anything about who she was, and yet little kid me knew, without a doubt, that she was bad. Today, I understand how foolish I was. Sadly, this type of behavior still very much exists today. You can find countless articles, stories, and blogs written from the perspective of Middle Easterners who have moved to America, speaking to the challenges and abuse that they experience every day. They talk about how there are strong biases about their culture as a whole that stem from a fear response based on the actions of just a few bad eggs. In a New York Times article, a study that was conducted by California State University showed that in the decade following 9/11, hate crimes against American Muslims rose by 78%. And they increased even more against American Muslims who were just perceived to be of Arab descent. This begs the question, where did all this hate come from? What can we do today to try and lower these statistics and prevent this hate from continuing? Debashish Marita answers our question with a few simple words. Fear comes from the lack of knowledge and a state of ignorance. The best remedy for fear is to gain knowledge. So how do we begin to gain knowledge about people and cultures we don't understand? The answer is simple. Talk. When I was in high school, I had a friend named Pallav. Pallav was born in Iraq. He and his family moved to America when he was just a few years old. Through my friendship with Pallav, I learned for the first time about the challenges he, his family, and so many others face being Middle Eastern Americans. It hurt me to learn that they regularly experience discrimination and hate just because of how they looked and the culture others associated with them. Simple activities like going to dinner or running to the grocery store weren't so simple for Pallav and his family. When they went out, It wasn't uncommon for them to receive stares or insulting comments. Strangers who didn't even know them would approach them and spew hateful words. Paul would share with me how frustrating it was to be judged without being known. For people to assume things about him based on how he looked, without knowing anything about who he was or what he believed. Paul changed my perspective. Knowing him changed how I viewed people who are different than myself. And that change only happened because I gained knowledge about him, his family, his culture, and the challenges he faced that were different than my own. Intercultural concerns like discrimination are important to understand. We all have people in our lives that we could understand better. Paul taught me that one of the best things you can do when you don't understand someone is to try to learn more about them by asking questions, doing research, and educating yourself. This is especially important with understanding different cultures. How often has your opinion or view of a person, place, or thing been formed completely by your environment? Maybe you have an unconscious bias like I did toward a group of people or an entire culture. So step one is asking questions and doing research. Take time to intentionally learn about others. Be willing to be patient and understanding with those that you are unfamiliar with, and most of all, be kind. Step two, fight the mob mentality. Come to your own conclusions. Don't be lazy and do what everyone else does without knowing what you're talking about. Even the smallest amount of investigation can dissolve any apprehensions that you have. Chances are many of the beliefs you strongly adhere to are due to the environment and community you grew up in. The people and situations we were close to in our formative years influence so much of what we think. So my challenge to you is for you to break free from the mold you are in. We have to be better at understanding who others are and where they've been. The more we know, the better we can communicate and build positive relationships. We all live on the same planet. We might as well get to know each other just a little bit better. Thank you.